Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Well, this was either going to be an incredible comeback win for the Mets, where they rally from down 5-0, from down 8-2, to come back from a 5 and 6 run deficit in this game after David Peterson just absolutely spit the bit, just 2 innings, 8 earned runs, a career high for him, or it was going to be one of the most frustrating losses of the season, and it is the latter. This is one of the more annoying losses of the year for the Mets. I've had a lot, and it might be recency bias, but this one really sticks in my craw. The Mets falling behind immediately out of the gate, 5-0 to the Marlins. David Peterson is putting men on base. He's not getting any help from his defense out in left field with Brandon Nimmo turning what could have been the final out of that inning into a 2-run double to put a 5 spot on the board for Miami. Mets come back, get 2 runs in the first 2 innings, make it 5-2, and then Peterson back in trouble again in the third. 3 more runs to make it 8-2. He gets relieved by Chris Davinsky, who's able to get the final 2 outs. I'm sorry, all 3 outs of that inning in place of David Peterson. And the Mets come right back. They get a 3-run homer from Mark Vientos. And it's like, wow, 8-5. We got a shot. Then you get a solo homer from Juan Soto. It's 8-6. And then in the 6th, Juan Soto, his 2nd home run of the game to make it 8-8 and tie this ball game up. And that was the highest we were going to get. The lowest was yet to come because the 7th inning, just an absolute disaster on so many levels. First of all, can we just talk about it? Can we finally just say this? Tyler Rogers has not lived up to the hype that we were expecting when we added him at the trade deadline. All the attention has been put on Ryan Helsley because he has been so catastrophically bad, but I have no confidence in Tyler Rogers either. This guy comes in and he is just sitting middle with that sinker, and these guys tee off on it. And I know the exit velocities aren't very high against him, and some of them are bloops and dinkers, dunkers, bleeders, and sometimes that's just baseball. But that seems to be happening way too often with Tyler Rogers, who immediately gives the Marlins the lead back. But not to worry, because at the bottom of the 7th, lead off triple from Jeff McNeil as the Marlins left fielder doesn't play it well off of the sidewall. And somehow the Mets can't figure out how to get him in. Brett Beatty grounds out to second base with the infield in. Starling Marte pinch hits for Luis Torrens and has about as feeble of an at-bat as you could possibly have in that situation. 3 straight pitches, swings at a slider 3 feet in the left-handed batter's box. And then Cedric Mullins, you give him credit, he put some good wood on the ball. It just gets caught down the left field line and the Mets can't come through. And you almost knew when the Mets didn't cash in there with the tying run after having him at third base to lead off the 7th that they were not going to win this game. Just a really frustrating loss for the Mets, and they have now lost 2 of the first 3 games here with Miami, and now they're just looking to salvage the finale tomorrow, salvage a split with the Marlins. Meanwhile, the Phillies just continue to take care of business against the hapless Braves, the Braves that play us like it's the World Series, but they go and they play the Phillies, and they can't seem to do anything. Phillies up 1-0 in the 6th inning after limiting the Braves to just 1 run yesterday as well. Thank you so much, Atlanta. You guys are fantastic. So, no, well, they just tied it up. Now it's 1-1. I eat my words. Guys, what's up? I'm Tony Metro. If you're new to the streams, be sure to subscribe. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. You can also follow me on all my other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all of those are in the description below. If you guys want to keep the streams going here and tip, I appreciate that. You can do it here on YouTube through Super Chats, or go to the tip jar, which is in the link to this video, in the description of this video as well. If you want to call into the show and be a part of it, sound off. Give me your frustrated takes on this bad loss for the Mets today. You could do that. Go to the Discord. Link to that is also in the description of this video below. And while you're at all of that, go ahead, give this video a like right now. Appreciate it, guys. It goes a long way. Let's go to the chat. Madeleine Schmidt, so annoying. Couldn't say it any better myself, Madeleine. I mean, just a frustrating, annoying loss, a blue ball loss from the Mets. We get these so often with this team, and they never hurt any less. On a day where Juan Soto hits 2 home runs, including a game-tying 2-run shot, when you have the runner at second or at third base with nobody out, an opportunity to tie it after your reliever just choked again, Tyler Rogers, and the Mets can't cash in. And then to make it all worse, Edwin Diaz comes in and gives up 2 doubles and a walk to extend the Marlins lead to 11-8. I mean, just an annoying loss. Madeline pitching is garbage. I mean, bullpen doesn't have the prettiest numbers at the end, but it's really only on 2 culprits. It's on Tyler Rogers coming in the 7th, which, hey, there could be a conversation. Why not keep Brooks Raley in after having a really strong 6th inning? And then, of course, Edwin Diaz blowing up and giving up 2 more runs there in the 9th inning. But otherwise, you get 3 scoreless, hitless innings from Chris Davinsky. He would have been the MVP of this game along with Juan Soto, of course. Chris Davinsky comes in and picks up the pieces for David Peterson, who has the worst start of his career, and gets us through 3 innings without giving up a hit. And then Tyler Rogers can't get the job done. How many times has that been the case lately? And I said it before, man, it's just all the attention's on Helsley, but Tyler Rogers really hasn't been all that great either since coming over. I'm just saying. Absol says, who would have thought that the only bad pitching in this game would come from Peterson and Diaz? Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I know Rogers got dinked and dunked there, but I'm not going to give him a pass either, especially in what we needed, a shutdown inning after the way Citi Field was bouncing from Soto's game-tying 2-run homer. You have to have a shutdown inning there. And Rogers lately has not been that guy at all. So I got to throw him in there too. D-Rails, what's up? My brother Tony, what's good, D-Rails? Appreciate you. He says, I can't take this crap. I can't take this crap either, man. I mean, we come off the high of a 3-game sweep against the Phillies. I was willing to overlook Thursday, the first game of this one with the Marlins, when the Mets were just throwing the ball all over the field. If they were able to come back and win out the rest of this week, and they get the electric performance yesterday from the lineup, scoring 19 runs. And then you come out today and you get put behind the 8 ball, literally, figuratively, at 8-2 lead for the Marlins. And the Mets tie it up, and they still can't find a way to win against those pesky freaking Marlins. It's so reminiscent of the 2007-2008 Marlins. Just these guys might as well all be named Jeremy Hermida and Josh Willingham and Dan Ugla and Hanley Ramirez, a young Hanley Ramirez, if you remember, who couldn't hit at that time. They might as well be those guys. And Cody Ross. This is such an annoying, pesky Marlins team that always seems to just be constructed to beat the Mets. I can't stand this Marlins team. Man, Jimmy James, your super chat hasn't been working, I don't think. Thank you, Jimmy. You did mention that. I thought it was working again. I will definitely look into that. I appreciate you, Jimmy. Thank you for looking out for me. Absol says, should have trounced this team if Peterson didn't blow this game. Absolutely. I mean, Peterson goes out, and I know the first inning, 5 runs, not the greatest defense behind him, obviously, but Peterson just did not look like Peterson, and he hasn't lately. He has definitely struggled. First 13 starts of the year versus his last 13 starts, stark difference. And we're going to go through those numbers here when I start sharing my screen in a little while. Let me get through the rest of this chat. McNeil triple with nobody out and can't even score, says Absol. I mean, like I said, that felt like the Mets are not going to win this game. They're just not going to win this game. And there's been just so many opportunities. That's why I call this a blue ball loss, where the Mets tease you into thinking they're going to win and momentum is on their side. They come back from down 5-0 and down 8-2. Then they end up giving the lead back 9-8. But the freaking leadoff hitter in the 7th, McNeil, gets the triple, and you're thinking there's no way they're not going to score this guy. And somehow the Mets snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory and can't get him home. Very, very annoying loss for sure. I mean, guys, we were talking either a great win or a frustrating loss, and here we are sitting at a very frustrating loss, looking to just salvage a split with the Marlins tomorrow. And I don't mean to belittle the Marlins. They're not a bad team. They're 8 games under 500. They are pesky. None of these at-bats are easy with them, but man, if you want to win the division, these are wins you got to have. And the Mets have given one of them away on Thursday in the first game of the series. And now here today, just don't get enough contributions from the pitching staff to get it all home. So very, very frustrating. Absol says, gave up prospects for Mullins. Unbelievable. Should have passed on him. He makes Tyrone Taylor look like P. Rose. I mean, since Mullins came over, Tyrone Taylor has to be hitting for a better average and on-base percentage than Cedric Mullins since becoming a Met. There's no question about it, right? My eyes don't deceive me. I mean, and I do feel for Mullins a little because I have seen him hit some hard balls just into gloves and right at people, but you got to start getting some hits, man. I mean, this is just brutal. And I know Rogers still has the 1.93 ERA, but he's not been the shutdown guy that we thought we were going to get when we sent over all those dudes to San Francisco at the deadline. Jose Butto, who, hey, wouldn't that be nice to have Jose Butto in this bullpen right now? Wouldn't that be nice instead of Helsley? Maybe even instead of Rogers, who hasn't been all that great, if you ask me. Or maybe Soto. I mean, Soto's been pretty solid still, in my opinion, but Tidwell, of course, and Drew Gilbert. I mean, it's just been bad. Let's see. Or I'm sorry, actually, let's do this. I'm going to go over. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to hear what some of the guys have to say over here. But guys, sound off in the chat. How you feeling about this loss? For me, this is a gut punch. This is a really tough one to swallow, to have those comebacks and then for it all to fall short, to watch Peterson just melt down in real time, Rogers to give up the go-ahead run immediately after the game-tying 2-run homer from Juan Soto, where, you know, like I said, Citi Field is just shaking. It's just one of those losses that you look back on at the end of the season and you're like, we could have had that one. It might be the difference in making a run to the division. Jimmy James C says, I knew the game was over once they couldn't bring McNeil home. He makes Tyrone Taylor, or I'm sorry. Well, you deleted that. I don't know what happened, Jimmy. You deleted that. Yes, I agree. I felt the same way. As soon as they did not bring Jeff McNeil home after the leadoff triple, it felt like this game was over. It just didn't feel like they were going to have another comeback in them. Like the momentum just completely was taken all out of their sails, or the wind taken out of their sails, whatever the expression goes. So definitely a very annoying loss, but let's go ahead and take a look. I want to mention to you guys, because David Peterson has definitely not been the same. David Peterson has not been the same David Peterson, and for a long time now. And he's mixed in a couple of decent starts here and there, but he has also had some real clunkers. And today was not just a clunker, but a career worst for Peterson. 2 innings, 8 earned runs on 8 hits, and 3 walks. I mean, it is not good. And the overall numbers for the season are not terrible for Peterson. 8-5, 3.61 ERA, 26 games, all starts, obviously. But he is at the very highest amount of innings he's ever thrown in his career. We were talking about it yesterday. I think the highest before that was last year at 120. But over these last 13 starts compared to his first 13 starts of the season, it is night and day. And it is a little alarming as we approach October and wonder about how the Mets are going to organize their rotation for a playoff push and for a potential playoff run. But if you look at the first 13 starts of the year, he ended up having through May a 2.3, or I'm sorry, this would have been 2.30. This is not going to help me calculate it, guys. I'm trying to prove a point here, but I really can't do it with this website, and Baseball Reference won't have it. All right, so this is what we're going to do, guys. Right over here to Baseball Reference. And we'll just ignore today's start because you already know what he did. It was absolutely brutal, but oh, here we go. How about this? This tweet will help me out. Thank you very much, whoever wrote this. Anthony DeComo. David Peterson just didn't have it today. He allowed 8 earned runs to the Marlins, the highest total of his career. Peterson's first 13 starts of the year, a 2.49 ERA. Peterson's last 13 starts, a 4.96 ERA. It's just not been the same David Peterson. And, on a daily basis, we are getting killed by these starters, whether it's Senga or Manaya not going deep or Holmes giving us what Holmes has been giving us. They cannot afford to now also not be getting solid starts from David Peterson as well. We are talking about a rotation that is hanging by a thread, and I know we have placed a lot of hopes into the likes of Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong, but they are rookies and they're just that, and you can't just hope that they are going to carry the load for this team. But man, rough day for David Peterson for sure. RM 1042, those 3 games against them to close out the season scare the hell out of me. Well, let me scare you a little more, RM. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-game series down in Miami that the Mets will be playing in to end the season. I think it might be a 4-game series. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, that's going to be a house of horrors down in Miami. I do not want to play this team, man. This feels like 07, 08. Like I said, these guys might as well have Hermida and Willingham and Dan Ugla and all the other guys, Cody Ross, on the back of their uniforms, because this team plays exactly like those 07, 08 pesky Marlin teams did, where they just put the ball in play. They got a couple guys with some pop. It's really, really not fun playing this Marlins team. Eric Douglas says Mullins isn't the guy. Mullins has not been adjusted well here to since coming over to the Mets. It has been a struggle for sure. Let's take a look at his numbers since becoming a Met. Again, he put a good swing on the ball today. He drew a walk and then I think extended the inning there. When he stole that base, that allowed Beatty to come home to score after the throw went into center field back in the 2nd inning. So, I mean, a little bit of contributions, but really not a whole lot. It has not been a great time for Cedric Mullins since coming over to the Mets. He has a 225 average and a 325 OBP so far in 22 games. But you know what's crazy, guys? This is exactly what he was in Baltimore this year. Mullins' numbers in Baltimore this year, just 4 points higher, 229. The OBP was 25 points lower at 305. The slug, significantly lower. He is hit for no power. He has just 1 home run since becoming a Met. I mean, how great would that have been to have a 3-run game-tying homer there in that 9th inning with 2 outs? But obviously not the case. But yeah, Mullins has been bad. But this is exactly what most of us already knew, that this is who he is. These are the same numbers that he put up with Baltimore this year and really has done for the last 2 or 3 years. He has not been the guy that he was back in 2021 when he was an all-star and an MVP candidate with a 6.2 WAR. He has not been that guy for a number of years now. So it's unfortunate. I always said it at the deadline. I would have went for Bader, a reunion with him, but this is who we got now. So Jimmy James C, time to give Sprout a start. Only our young prospects have delivered. I mean, I don't know if this is like a little bit of dead arm with David Peterson at this point, and that could be the case. Like I said, career high in innings right now, 152 after today, and his career high before that was 120 last season. So I don't know if this is just some dead arm for David Peterson, but whatever it is, they have got to get it figured out, because right now we are looking at 2/5 of a rotation, and both of them are rookies in Tong and McLean, and we still don't even officially know what we're going to get out of Tong, and to be fair, still not really with McLean, though. I think we have a better feeling and kind of feel for him, but let's see what Peterson has to say about his start here today. He's talking on SNY right now. I mean, it's just a clunker of a start for him, but I would not oppose to bringing up Sproat. That is for sure. Tomorrow is the deadline for the Mets to call anyone up to have them eligible for the playoff roster. And I said it yesterday in the stream, he absolutely should be called up to this team before that deadline and pitch out of the bullpen here in September. And if it goes well, then great. You put him on the playoff roster. And if it doesn't go well for Sproat, then no harm, no foul. He got an opportunity in the bigs for a final month, and we'll see where he's at next year. But that would be a missed opportunity to not at least see what you have in Brandon Sproat. I'm totally with you, Jimmy. Eric Douglas, Marlins have an underrated offense, though. They're in the top 5 for RISP batting average. I mean, they are a pesky team, man. They put the ball in play. They take good at bats. I mean, it feels like pulling teeth trying to get these guys out. I don't know, man. It's just that Mets Marlins curse, though. Like, it's always hanging over my head like a dark cloud. They just play us so hard. When I'm watching them in years past, when we need them to beat the Braves, they just don't show up. Or when we need them to beat the Phillies handle them no problem. But the Mets, man, just whatever reason, it feels like the Marlins construct their teams to beat the freaking Mets, and it is so frustrating. But guys, go ahead, leave this video a like. Go ahead, do that right now if you have not already. I appreciate it very much. Joe, after coming back from a 6-2 deficit, no, Joe, an 8-2 deficit, you have to find a way to win this game. I agree, man. I agree. You come back from down 5-0 and then down 8-2, and it's just a frustrating loss. That is a win, if you get it, that could put you on a run here for the final month of the season. You combine it with what you have gotten from McLean and from Tong and the emotions that has brought to the clubhouse and to the fan base, and obviously their performance as well. And then you get a 8-2 comeback with your leader Soto hitting 2 bombs, a game-tying 2-run shot in this game. This could have put them on a huge run for this final month as they hunt down the Phillies in the division. It is a tough loss for sure, Joe. RM 1042, I think going to 6-man rotation for the final month will help. Yeah, absolutely. Mendoza said that is the Mets' plan. They will go to the 6-man rotation for the time being, but he used the word fluid, that it is open to change. The Mets are going to have an off day, I believe, Thursday after the 3-game series in Detroit with the Tigers, and so that will be an opportunity for them to kind of reset and reassess how they want to go about things. But 6-man rotation, definitely the way to go, and that is what they will do for right now with Tong and, of course, with Nolan McLean in there. Let's see what Mendoza had to say about the Mets rotation and it being inconsistent as all hell.
We've gotten a big lift from the 2 guys.
Oh, where's the sound? Hold on.
Up to join the rotation.
Do we have the sound?
You know, the other.
Yeah, you guys got it.
In the rotation, you know, either its length or its effectiveness. How much of a concern is it for you, the inconsistency of the starters?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned because I know they're good and they talented.
No, of course my headphone's not working.
But I believe in Sean Manaya. I believe in Kodai Senga. Clay's been very consistent for us, so I trust those guys. They'll continue to step up. And yeah, I mean we're gonna get in this month where every game continues to be important, and we're gonna count on those guys. So we got to continue to work with them and stay right behind them.
We've gotten a big lift from the 2 guys who got called up to join the rotation.
Okay, yeah, well, I would have loved to have heard that, but for some reason my headphones are not working, even though I just got the new plug I needed. But okay, so let's just see. I'll just read the quote. I'm not concerned because I know they're good and they're talented. We haven't been able to put consistent starts. Yeah, no, that's an understatement. But at this point in the game, like, you got to figure out why and start getting some good starts, because 8 runs from Peterson in 2 innings. I mean, now we got Kodai Senga tomorrow. You know, this Marlins team sees a lot of pitches, puts the ball in play. They take their walks. Like, what are we going to get from Kodai Senga tomorrow? Is he going to even be able to go 4 innings for us tomorrow after we just taxed this bullpen to death today? I mean, tomorrow you got to imagine that only available relievers are going to be Stanek, Helsley, and maybe you could get an inning again out of Soto or Rayleigh or Rogers. I mean, like, the Mets are kind of not going to have a lot of guys in the bullpen tomorrow. So you got to start getting some length. And it's not great to only get 2 innings out of Peterson today when you got Kodai Senga coming up tomorrow, who has just not been getting the job done. I'm going to wait and see if we could get, there we go. Let's see what Soto has to say. I mean, what else is he going to say? I'm the best player in the world, right? That's it.
You're most satisfied with?
With the walks. It's definitely one of the things help me the most. That means I'm seeing the ball well. I'm seeing everything in the right spot, and when they're coming at me, I'm making damage.
Juan Carlos was just talking about how in the zone you are right now. When you get into these types of stretches at the
Yeah, Soto is just lighting the world on fire right now, and I ate my crow. I hope you guys know. I made that video a couple weeks ago saying he hadn't had an impactful season with the Mets. Well, he has definitely turned that around with his hitting with runners in scoring position lately, and then obviously today, the game-tying 2-run homer. Soto has been an absolute beast of late, but yeah, just unfortunately, like you said, Joe, that's one of those games where after you're trailing 8-2, you come back, you got to find a way to win it for sure. Eric Douglas says, bold prediction, Senga tosses a quality start tomorrow. Crazy that is now a bold prediction, right? I mean, Senga just has not been the same since coming back from the hamstring injury. I don't know if he didn't get enough rehab starts. I don't know if his arm is also feeling it and he's got some dead arm, but Senga's just not been the guy lately, and it's really concerning heading into this final month push. Plus, if we're lucky enough to make the playoffs here. Fortunately, Cincinnati is losing again. Braves, Phillies, 1-1 late in that game. We'll see what happens, but hey, would have been nice to gain a game on the Phillies here today if the Mets could have won this one. So I am definitely pretty frustrated about it. Let's go over to the box score because I want to see what everybody did today. Obviously, we know what Juan Soto did, 2 for 2, both home runs plus 2 walks, and that is why that man is one of the greatest OBP guys in baseball. Lindor, 1 for 5, of course, the leadoff home run there after the 5-run first for the Marlins, but that was it. Pretty quiet after that. Did score 2 runs, so also got on base. I think that might have been on a fielder's choice or something like that. Alonso, 2 for 5, but couldn't come through there in the 8th inning after Soto was on first, and he stole second, and Pete simultaneously struck out. Pete, not a great at-bat there. Swinging at 3 sliders all out of the zone there. Hard to get on Pete, who also had 2 hits in this game, but really needed one right there from him. Nimmo, 2 for 5. He popped out with an opportunity at the game-tying run as well, I believe. And then Vientos, of course, we know the big 3-run homer to get the Mets back into this game. Jeff McNeil with the triple that we thought was going to help them tie the game again. And then Beatty, unfortunately, despite 2 hits and a walk in his first 3 at-bats, 3-0 count, goes to 3-1 there with McNeil on third and nobody out, and just hits a ground ball to second base. I mean, you got to be thinking lift. You got to be thinking hit the ball in the air somewhere, and can't come through with the sacrifice fly. So very frustrating to have it go from 3-0 to 3-1 and then a ground out that does no good for you at all. Then it was Starling Marte pinch hitting. Like I said, just a feeble at-bat from Starling Marte, and he has been good lately, but man, swings and misses a fastball, takes a fastball down the middle, got fooled on that one, didn't think it was going to be one, and then swings a slider in the left-handed batter's box. And then Mullins, obviously, as we know, hitting one to left field pretty well, but just happens to get caught. That's where the fielder was shaded. Sandman Games, OMG to SMH. Hi, Tony and Mookie. What's up, Sandman? How you doing, brother? Yeah, I was a little loud here and upset here, so Mookie's over laying in the other room because he doesn't want to be around me right now. I understand. Armand says, hey, I'm just waiting for the LIRR back to Penn Station. I believe Mendy should have had Mauricio pinch hit for Mullins in that ninth. Still had Taylor on the bench for defense if game went to extras. Yeah, that's a possibility. You could have done that, and, I would have even said pinch hit for Sanger too, who obviously gets the base hit, but then of course you have no catcher. But do you want to lose the game 11-8 with Sanger potentially losing the game, or do you want to give it a shot, roll the dice with Jeff McNeil as your emergency catcher? I'm just saying, 2 outs and Sanger coming to the plate. I know you have no catchers left, but you got to think out of the box there and think, hey, if we don't score any runs, we won't even need a catcher because there won't be a next half inning. But Sanger does come through with the base hit. So yeah, I could have seen you pinch hitting Mauricio there, and that would have been a nice opportunity for him. Obviously, he'd be hitting from the left side of the plate where he is a much better hitter and has some pop. So that would have been cool. But at the end of the day, look, this shouldn't have been an 11-8 score. The Mets should have tied the game there in the 7th inning, 9-9. Really, Rogers coming in. Could we get a shutdown inning from Tyler Rogers for once? Could we get a shutdown inning from this supposedly electric reliever, Tyler Rogers, that we just sent 3 other players over to the Giants for? Because I haven't been seeing it from this guy. He pitches against the Mets over the last 6-7 years that I've watched them, and he shuts them down, just absolutely mows down the Mets. But as soon as he comes here, I have not seen all the hype. I have not felt any confidence whatsoever with Tyler Rogers on the mound. So then you have Diaz coming in, gives up the doubles, a walk, 2 more runs, puts the game out of reach, 11-8. So it shouldn't have been there in the first place, in my opinion. But Armand, sorry that the game didn't go well for you, man, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. David Schultz, I've said it before, this team is at best a 500 team. Starting pitching is hot and cold. Bullpen has been bad since the All-Star break. Yeah, no, you're not wrong, man. It is an inconsistent team. That is kind of just who these guys are. If you could define this team, it would be inconsistent. They could be electric, really good one day or even for a full week, and then really bad the next day or for the next full week. And that is obviously very concerning, and you just got to hope that they're all going to be hot at the right time down the stretch here in September and come the playoffs in October. But I want to take a look at this because for my own sake, maybe I am just out of my mind, but I feel like Tyler Rogers has been coming in and giving up a lot of runs lately. So let's see. 1 run today, of course, against the Marlins. Then 2 scoreless outings before that, but gave up a run against, did not give up a run against the Atlanta, gave up a run against Washington back on August 21st, gave up a run against Seattle, gave up a run against Cleveland back on August 5th. So, look, maybe I'm overreacting, but here for the month of August, 15 and a third innings pitched, 4 earned runs. That's a 2.35 ERA. So look, maybe I am overreacting a little bit. I just expected a lot more from this guy after what he did for the Giants. I mean, look at his month of July here with the Giants. This was solely with the Giants. And oh, by the way, right in the middle of there, nice little out against the Mets. Go figure. And then before that, an inning, just 1 hit against the Mets. No runs. But month of July, 9.2 innings pitched, a 1.86 ERA. The month of June, 14 and 2/3 innings pitched, gives up had a 1.84 earned run average. Didn't have a great May, but really amazing April. Look at that. April, 13 and a third innings pitched, gives up just 1 earned run. He's given up 4 earned runs, and yes, he's been used a little bit more than he probably ever was with San Francisco. 15 and a third innings pitched is crazy in one single month for a reliever like him, but that also does fall on the Mets starting pitching, as David Schultz says. The Mets have just had to rely on this bullpen way too often and for too long throughout some of these bad stretches of baseball for the team. But yeah, man, it's a tough one. I am almost out of words here because I'm just so frustrated by it all. But guys, sound off in chat. How you feeling about this team? How you feeling about today's loss? I mean, if the Phillies win today, it's hard to really truly believe the Mets have a shot at the NL East anymore. If the Mets fall back 7 games again, or I'm sorry, it would be 6 games with a Philly win today, then it might be lights on the division. I mean, despite that 4-game series there in Philadelphia, the Mets have to enter that series trailing by no more than 4 games, and that's the bare minimum. Because let's be honest, the Mets are not sweeping the Phillies in a 4-game series at Citizens Bank Park. As much as I think the Mets are a better team than them, there's no margin for error in that situation. So I don't see that happening. If you enter trailing by 4 games and you somehow win 3 out of 4 and you gain 3 on them, then okay, yeah. Or I'm sorry, 2 on them in that case, then yeah, look, last 2.5 weeks of the season trailing by 2, absolutely got a shot, but it's going to be hard if you fall back 6 games with a Philly win today. So definitely rough. Sandman says next Sunday, Mets and Jets at the same time. LOL. Pick your poison. I don't know if I could do it. Oh, the pain. Poor Mookie Sandman. I don't know if I can watch the Jets that day. I really don't. I don't know if I can handle a double dose of pain from the Jets and the Mets. That might just be too much for my body to handle. I might spontaneously combust if the Jets give me a crap game and the Mets haven't figured it out by then. And I think the Mets are also going to be playing a pretty tough team around that time. We're going to go through the schedule here right after I read Edward Christian Aquan, who says the game is on the pitchers. We desperately need new pitchers or Sprout. All of our acquisitions last deadline are all underwhelming. Momentum destroying loss. Next game are above 500. Yes, exactly. And that's the biggest takeaway for me. And that's why I call this a frustrating, annoying blue ball loss, because they make us think that they're going to have this amazing comeback and continue the momentum of yesterday, where you get 19 runs in the debut of one of your top prospects on the mound. And you can't continue to catch that lightning in the bottle. 8 runs immediately off of Peterson. And despite that, the comeback, you tie it up, and then you can't win the game. But it's like the Mets just can't carry that momentum from a day-to-day basis. You get the 3-game sweep of the Phillies. How do you follow it up? Game 1 of the series here against the Marlins. You make 3 errors in the field, and you embarrass yourselves and lose that one 7-4. Okay, then they get the nice win yesterday, and they follow it up here today, and they can't complete the comeback. I'm sorry. This is, I don't want to say unacceptable loss, considering their starting pitcher gave up 8 runs in the first 2 innings. But the way it ended up going by tying it up, it's a very, very tough one for me to swallow. Mark Rapp, 2 2-run homers by Soto, 3-run homer by Vientos, and Peterson on the mound. No damn excuse for this garbage, and Stearns sucks. So the only correction I'll give you, Soto had a solo homer and then had the 2-run homer. So it was a solo and a 2-run homer plus the 3-run homer from Vientos. You're 100% right, Mark. It's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. Peterson had a clunker of a game. And there's nothing you could do about it, man. Peterson just had a bad game, but frustrating to see Rogers go right back out there and give the momentum right back to the Marlins without being able to get a shutdown inning there. And then, of course, Diaz lets it just totally unravel there in the 9th inning. So, RM1042 watching LSU Clemson right now to take my mind off the Mets SMH. Yeah, I'll be watching some college football as well immediately after this stream because I don't want to think about anything Mets for the rest of tonight. And then we got another game tomorrow. All right, so they're just talking about Soto's personal accolades here. I really got no interest in hearing any more about this game here from these guys. It's just a really annoying loss. So let's take a look really quick at the Mets schedule, and then we're going to take a look at the pitching matchup for tomorrow's. The Mets look to salvage a split with the Miami Marlins. Not exactly ideal coming off a 3-game sweep of the Phillies, right? Remember that? Yeah, that was great. Well, let's see what happens. So obviously the Marlins tomorrow at 1:40, and then the Mets begin the month of September on the road against Detroit, who, hey, guys, I know Detroit still has a pretty decent record, but they have not been that same dominant Detroit team from the first 2 months of the year, so let's not quiver in fear at them just yet. But then a huge series after an off day, 3 against the Reds. I am just hoping the Mets can enter that still with that 4 or 5 game lead. Take 2 out of 3. If you got a 5-game lead, 1 out of 3. No, I'd want 2 out of 3. And then that 4-game set with the Phillies Monday through Thursday. The Rangers still competing for a playoff spot. 3 with the Padres toward the 3rd week of September, who the Padres absolutely just torched us down in San Diego. 3 with the Nats, who we know, hey, the Mets didn't exactly play their best baseball against them in D.C. 2 weeks ago. And then 3 with the Cubs, who have also kind of been struggling, but who knows? They're still a dangerous team, dangerous offense, and that's out at Wrigley. And then it is a 3-game set to end the year with the Marlins. Okay, so not a 4-game set, but my goodness, I am going to need some Prozac for that final weekend in Miami if the Mets have not already solidified their playoff position. Okay, that is going to be brutal. I don't know what I'm going to do for that one if the Mets don't already have their playoff spot committed by that time. They got to go play the Marlins again. So let's go take a look at tomorrow's matchup. It is Kodai Senga, as we know, taking on former Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara. Senga, 2.73 ERA over 21 starts, but man, it has been a tale of 2 seasons for the Mets. That is for sure. Since coming back from that hamstring injury, an ERA of 6 over 6 starts, only has gone past 5 innings. Once he completed 5 innings one other time against Washington, but gave up 4 earned runs in the process. He gave up 3 runs in 4 innings against the Phillies earlier this week. It has not been the same Senga, that is for sure. You can see the line of demarcation. It's right here, pretty much July 1st through and then when he comes back from that injury, he ends up basically not being the same guy. 4 innings, 3 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, 4.1 inning. I mean, the guy has not been the same Senga that we saw in the first half. So hopefully we'll get good Senga back tomorrow, fingers crossed. And of course, we all know Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young winner, like I said. Unfortunately, for the Marlins and Alcantara, he's not been pitching like a Cy Young winner. Here's the problem. The Mets always seem to find a way to make these kinds of guys look like a Cy Young pitcher again. So hopefully that is not the case tomorrow, because lose 3 out of 4 to the Marlins, and oh boy, Tony is not going to be in a good mood. But 5.87 ERA on the season for Sandy, who we know a lot of teams were inquiring about at the deadline, including the Mets. But man, it's not been a good year coming off that TJ surgery. Last time out, though, not a bad start. 2 earned runs in 7 innings against Atlanta, 1 earned run in 7 against St. Louis, and just 1 earned run again in 6 innings against Boston. So Alcantara's been pitching very well lately. Last 3 innings has gone 6 innings, 7 innings, and 7 innings, and in each of those games, 1 earned run or just 2 earned runs in the final one. I misspoke. Anyway, let me go back to the chat here. Juan Diaz says, Peterson didn't have it today. Man, that is an understatement, Juan. He did not have it. Nothing was coming easy for him. No command. He was getting hit all over the park. Defense didn't help him out, but Peterson definitely with a clunker today. Might as well bring up Sproat because these veteran pitchers seem to be lost. I don't know what's up with these guys. for them to all collectively have dead arm at the same time makes no sense, especially in the case of Sean Manaea. And I'm worried about Manaea. I wonder if those loose elbows are a little bit, or loose bodies in his pitching elbow is a more serious issue than we were led to believe, or that he is leading on to. RM1042 next 2 weeks is going to tell you where this team stands 100%. And at this point, I'm happy to just make the playoffs, which is frustrating, but division definitely is going to be difficult if the Mets can't take care of business versus the Marlins, and the Phillies just seem to own the Braves. But Edward Christian Aquan, great take this day. Are the bats at least alive? Vientos and other bats are heating up. Our prospects are at least better than our pitchers, and Phillies Reds are also inconsistent. Exactly. I mean, I don't think there's any runaway team in the National League with the exception of the Brewers, but even them, I have my doubts about. I'm sorry. I just don't know how well their style of ball is going to play come postseason time. A lot of people love to always point to the 2015 Kansas City Royals. Hey, put it in play. Good things happen. But baseball's kind of changed since then. It's really more about, hey, who's going to hit the most home runs, get the most strikeouts and stuff like that. But we'll see. I don't think there's any team the Mets couldn't go in and beat in a 7-game, 5-game series if they make the playoffs in the National League. But that is on the caveat that they are playing their best brand of baseball, which unfortunately for the Mets is just wildly inconsistent all year long. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Real quick, though, Joe, who do you call up, Sproat or McGill? Sproat for sure. McGill as well. I mean, Davinsky's going to be one of those guys that we keep optioning to AAA until we can, and then probably DFA him. Brosbon's probably on the injured list. I don't think they made an official announcement on that yet. I think he is actually, yes, while they evaluate him. So I think there are 2 spots, plus there's an expanded roster by 1 player. So I think you could call up both McGill and Sproat. And who knows, maybe there's a phantom 10-day injured list for one of these starters or one of these relievers to just give them a break. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that is the way they go, Joe. But guys, it's a tough loss. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, it was either going to be a awesome comeback win or an awesomely frustrating loss, and it turns out to be the latter, as they can't complete the comeback. But like you said there, Edward, one of the positives, the bats have been looking really good lately. Love to see it. Unfortunately, pitching hasn't been getting the job done, but we'll be back tomorrow where hopefully the Mets do salvage the split with the Marlins. Another post-game recap immediately after the finale of this series. But that is going to do it for right now. Appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Until tomorrow, though, I'm Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.